Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. This is where we round up all the big talking points from social media, and we've got a fair bit of Wrestlemania news, rumors to get started with. So Christopher, thank you. This coming from WrestleVotes. Wrestlemania 41 card is still being completed in totality, but as of now, the high-level matches are likely set. So it seems like the top end of the card is pretty much done, and there is still a few bits that are being tweaked and changed. That coming courtesy of WrestleVotes. More on WrestleMania, this time from Fightful Select. Again, Christopher, thank you. Those spoken to within WWE don't expect WrestleMania to take place in Saudi Arabia or the UK before 2028. Now, I got to tell you, as someone in the UK, as someone that would love to see WrestleMania come to the UK, I think we just need a date, and that is it. If you was to tell me WrestleMania will be in the UK in 2030, I would be over the moon, right? I would be over the moon. It's a little bit like when you find out you're going to host the Olympics. They normally announce that like years and years and years in advance. And then you kind of build up towards it, get hyped for it. It gets closer as time goes by. And honestly, I just didn't know that we would ever get a WrestleMania here in my lifetime, and it really feels like it's possible, and it really feels like it's quite close. I mean, honestly, if it did turn out to be 2030, I wouldn't be shocked. So this is not news that upsets me. I understand it might upset some, but as someone that's been a wrestling fan since the early 90s, the idea that we could realistically get a WrestleMania here in the UK, Just give me the year. That's all I need. 2030, 2031, 2032, whatever it is, you know, the countdown clock can begin. So that coming courtesy of Fightful Select. WWE Ethan, shout out to you. So here, news coming in. WrestleMania 42 is going to be held at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. It's going to get announced before this year's event. The location has been locked for months. So there we go. I mean, to be honest, I've heard this for a long time as well, that we're going to go to New Orleans. So this is not the biggest shock in the world. So we're doing Vegas this year, New Orleans coming up next. There's a few other places, like I'm sure Minnesota, I've heard being rumored as being a place that we can go to. I think Indianapolis, Indiana is going to get a WrestleMania as well. So I wonder if this is why UK and Saudi Arabia are looking to be like after 2028, because there are a few other places being rumored for future WrestleManias. Right, Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks has been internally added to the NXT roster under the Starks ring name, but that can always change. Right, so this is coming from PW Insider. Obviously, Ricky didn't reveal his name or say his name during his debut, his arrival on Tuesday. That's got people speculating. I really like the Ricky Starks name. He owns the trademark. It is his name. The only reason they might not go that way is because they might want to own the trademark. And that would be a real shame, because I think the name, it's his name. It's what I've known him as for a long time. Like, it works. But I'm sure I would get used to something else as long as whatever replaces it is still cool and still works, right? So just so you know, internally is listed as Starks, but that can change. So Christopher, thank you. Oh yeah, so Duke Hudson did a video the other day. This was really interesting. It's him asking himself questions like, do you think you just wasted the last 6 years of your life? Like, really interesting stuff. Very reminiscent of Uncle Howdy and Bo, kind of asking very hard-hitting personal questions. So we've actually got the second part here. Goes for 1:32. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I saw like a little clip from it, and he is talking about NXT. The clip I saw was him talking about, Do you think you should have left Chase U, broken away, turned on the university? And that was something we were waiting for quite a while. So let's jump into it and see what he's got to say in part 2.
And we're back. The question of the day. Should you have turned on the university?
No, I love the university. I believed in it.
Oh, really?
We were the heart and soul of that show for 2 years. And look at everything we accomplished. We won tag team gold. We got action figures. They put us in the video game.
Well, congratulations. You settled for the minimum.
Those were childhood dreams, but we deserve so much more. Not you and them, but us. We can walk the walk and we can talk the talk. But you forget what we're capable of because of some imaginary ceiling they put over the top of you and your beloved university. Now imagine if we turned on the university like originally planned. Maybe we'd be in a very different situation. Maybe you wouldn't have a reason to sit around on your ass and mope all day.
Okay, well, I'm proud of what we did together.
But look at what turning did for the others. Look at the undeserving scumbags that benefited from the university's hard work. Dempsey, Gacy, Ridge for crying out loud. I mean, come on.
Okay, if you start taking shots, I'm out.
What do you mean? What else are we here for? Grab that shovel and start digging.
Okay, this is why we are where we are.
What? Why?
You could never keep your big mouth shut.
I didn't keep my big... You didn't speak up for us enough. What was the point? You said it. We weren't chosen. We weren't allowed to mess up or step out of line. We weren't allowed to fail upwards, and you knew that.
All right, so you admit it.
You admit that you stopped trying and you gave up.
Mate, there was so much in there. I mean, I feel at one point, was he like taking a little shot at Ridge? Like, you know, Ridge broke out. Ridge of all people. Like, was there a little dig at Ridge in there? As well as that, talking about there being like a ceiling, how Chase U could never get above that because they never wanted them to get above that. Him talking to himself about, you know, you settled for an action figure. You settled for being in the video game. Had we have turned, where would we be now? Perhaps you wouldn't be sat around moping. These are so well done and not what you expect, honestly. Not the kind of thing that you expect from someone that's just been let go, because you do run the risk of burning some bridges. I think a lot of people, what they tend to do is be like, thanks for the opportunity, WWE. See you down the road, go off, and then, you know, try and rebuild themselves, hopefully try and find a way back. Some people don't. They just go off to other companies and they're quite happy. This is a very different approach. This is not the kind of thing we see from someone that's been released. Very interesting. Very interesting. I hope there's going to be a part 3 to this. Very interesting. Ashma, thank you. Yeah, this is good as well. So Andrew said, today WWE announced Hulk Hogan will be appearing in Las Vegas at WrestleMania for their Real American Suite package. It costs $9,500, and here's what you actually get in that package, right? So for $9,500 at WrestleMania, you would get both nights of WrestleMania in the stadium, in Allegiant Stadium, in a reserved seat in a premium luxury suite. So this is going to be one of those rooms to the side with a really great view. You're not going to have loads of people around you. It's your own space. Nice, expensive, you know. I don't know. I can't really put prices on this. I mean, I would think a couple of grand each day for that. Maybe more. $3,000 each day, probably $3,000 each day. All inclusive food and beverage. So I don't know, would that be $1,000 across the 2 days? I don't think it'd be more than that. This is per person. So Hogan then comes to your suite, and you can actually get a meet and greet with him, and you get an authentic Hulk Hogan Championship belt photo opportunity. Honestly, pricing it all up in my head as a rough ballpark, knowing what I know in regards to how much ticket prices are now for like ringside and being in the 4th row, per person, I would probably be around $7,000-8,000, something like that. So 9.5 is above, like, quite considerably above what I would expect. But I don't know. It's one of those, if you've got the money, you know, think about Drake. Yeah, think about all these celebrities that maybe don't want to just sit out in, like, you know, the crowd. They want their own space. You know, unlimited food, unlimited drinks, get to meet Hulk Hogan, great view, in your own box. I mean, that is nothing to football players, basketball players, you know, millionaires. I mean, what's 10 grand to, like, you know, a multi-millionaire? Someone that's got, like, in real estate, high-end real estate, or someone that's a high-end lawyer, you know? 10 grand per person. No problem. So it's one of those, isn't it? But I thought you would find it very interesting as to what it is that you actually get with that, for that money, right? So that was WWE. Let's go Wyatt's. A little bit of Wyatt's here. So this is when, I think we kind of showed a little bit of this footage before. So this was during a commercial break. You have Candice, like, stomping on Lily. She does it again. And there's even a bit where she kicks Lily kind of out the ring. And we did use that for, like, one of the thumbnails. So this was, boom, there's the bit where she just boots her. And then that's Alexa coming back. So this was during a commercial break when Alexa fought the other week. But on commentary, Brady noticed that, I think it was Wade Barrett that said it was an entity. Lily was an entity that was created by Bliss to deal with grief. And to be honest, it was an entity created by Bliss to deal with grief. If you remember, she went to those therapy sessions and she had a Lily, and then like the doctor kind of took it off her, and then he ended up giving her a new one. I'm wondering if it connects to that. I wonder if it's just a reference to that moment, to those therapy sessions, or is it a reference to this new looking Lily? You know, is because how would Wade Barrett know that? How would Wade? I don't think Wade Barrett is speaking to Alexa backstage and getting this information. So how would Wade Barrett find out that this new Lily had been created by Alexa while she was away, and it was an entity to deal with grief? It makes me wonder if when he's talking, I wonder if he's talking more about those therapy sessions. And I'm wondering if this is like the same Lily. It's just had a glow up. It's just had a bit of a makeover, right? And they're not going to try and present this Lily as being something different. I don't know. It's interesting. It's quite a deep cut for the WYATT 6 fans and for the Alexa fans. I just wonder how much, like, importance to put into that line. But it is a very interesting line, and it does kind of open up some questions. So, Brady, thank you. Right, Joe Gacy tweeted this out. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. That was 9 hours ago. Kane said, probably totally unrelated, but do you remember those EVP Easter eggs from a few months back? The quote is a Carl Jung quote, a psychologist who believed and studied parapsychology. He was big into supernatural encounters. And also, Joe Gacy here put that out, but with this image in the background on, I think, yeah, Instagram story. So, Anime Fiend Zeno, thank you. I mean, look, I think the big takeaway is it's a Carl Jung quote, which is very interesting. And he has connections to, like, supernatural and all that kind of stuff. But you know my stance on this. When it comes from one of the WYATT 6 members' individual kind of personal accounts, I feel like they can be sat at home and they have the ability to put out whatever they want. It doesn't necessarily tie into the direction the group's going to go, or it doesn't necessarily tie into the story that's going to be told on TV. It maybe ties into kind of where their heads are at and what they're thinking and the little teases they want to put out. But I think the stuff we really need to get excited about is when the official WYATT 6 account actually puts out some information, because we know that comes from Rob Fee. And that's where things get real interesting. So I would say this is just something to be aware of. So that was the WYATT 6 folder, like Alexa folder. Let's go TNA, not much in here. So on TNA tonight, we had Cora Jade picking up a win against Xia Brookside, formerly of NXT UK. Cora Jade said, second dub of the week. I'm so good. It's actually insane. I'm going to be adding a third this weekend. As well as that, we had Wes Lee coming out with Tyson and Tyriek. They were having a go at the Rascals. I believe Ace Austin came down. Big brawl, and clearly that is building to, I'm guessing, a 6-person match. So, Master Taker, shout out to you. And then the show ended with Josh Alexander losing in the main event, and he is done. That was it. Contract ends Friday, and there is a thought he may rock up on Saturday at Vengeance Day. So thank you, Josh Alexander. That's how TNA came to a close this week. Here, Josh Alexander's deal with TNA Impact expires on Friday. Alexander's exit has been one of that TNA has known about as a real possibility for well over a year, and there are no indications as to which company Alexander may land that coming from. Fightful selects. Okay, let's go over to fun. Oh, yeah. So this was earlier today. This was Linda McMahon. So she was talking at the Senate, and she had Steph, Shane over here, Triple H there supporting her, and there was a protester that seemed to start shouting as Linda was talking. I believe, I tried to hear what they were saying. I think they were shouting about DEI. Right? Just like Mercedes CEO. In fact, they could have sung it the same way. DEI, 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 DEI. But they didn't, and they absolutely missed a trick. So let's have a look at the clip.
Cassidy. Yes, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Stephanie McMahon, Paul Levesque, her husband, and my son, Shane McMahon. I'm so happy to have them here, and many friends have come from far places, so I welcome having them here today and appreciate that they're here. So, Cassidy?
I couldn't make it out. I heard was it DEA? DEA. DEA. Just shouting stuff. You've got to have a slogan. You've got to make it catchy. If you're going to protest, yeah, I need a jingle. MK, shout out to you. So look at this. Zashi said, look at his eyes after he drinks the water. I just know he wanted to spit it out. And he does as well. He drinks it. And I don't know why he does this. I don't know what's going through his head, but this is a great clip.
Also like to thank President
We're all
Trump
watching Triple H. Here we go. The water goes in the mouth, keeps it, head goes back. Oh, look, it's just second nature. You can see the head going back. Drinks the water, keeps it in the mouth. Do you reckon Steph was there? Like, not now. Not now. This isn't the right time, right? Love that. Thank you. Oh, this is just bonkers. I don't even know where this has come from. I don't know what video this is from. But this is Stone Cold trying fancy cocktails.
Have you ever tried to have sex on the beach? With all that sand getting in all the crevices, all that other bullshit, sex on the beach sucks. See, this is like one of those bullshit drinks right here. I'm not sure what the this is. I'm about to find out. Oh, boy. The vodka and Kahlua? I have no idea. It's like sugary dog shit. A birthday teeny. That's appropriate. Happy birthday to whoever the hell made this drink. But it's not my birthday, so I will not finish it. Please bring me my next beverage. Is this, would this be a Cosmopolitan? It's not a bad drink. I'm quite enjoying it, and I'm gonna finish it off. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I love alcohol.
Is that not just one of the best memes? How does that not get clipped and used by loads of people, right? This bit here.
I love alcohol.
That is a meme, innit? I love alcohol. Ah, Appletini.
That's got to be a green Appletini. Apples are good for you, so an Appletini a day probably would keep the doctor away. And that's taken from an alcoholic standpoint of view. I'm done with this drink. I would like another, please. Thank you. This is finally a sex on the beach. This is finally a sex on the beach. I've always heard about this illustrious cocktail. Not a fan. Next drink. God damn, you might as well pour the rest of it. I would call this, give me one of those red piles of shit. Oh, a Jolly Rancher shot. These are the kind of drinks that just piss you off. A little sumbitch like this, if you put it in a frilly glass and put a couple of little umbrellas in there, probably set you back $10. For what? A case of sugar diabetes and no buzz? That drink. If y'all ain't got nothing else for me to drink, I'm a haul ass. No, I'm serious. I'm about to haul ass if y'all have no better shit than this to drink. Oh, he does. Please, bartender. Now that's a tasty beverage.
I think that's probably his, wasn't it? I think, unfortunately, the thing just covers it over. I'm guessing that's the Broken Skull beer. But, yeah, it's just fun, isn't it? Just really, really fun. I actually think with that birthday martini thing, I think I wouldn't hate that as a one-off on a birthday. It would not be your go-to drink of choice on nights out or whatever, but as a fun little thing, like for dessert, I can see that being okay, acceptable. I really don't know what's in a lot of the others. I don't really know cocktails, so. But that's pretty fun, watching Stone Cold. That clip, though, of him going, I love alcohol. Oh, man. How do you not take that? Clip that. So, Kason, thank you, my friend. Very entertaining. Miss Clown, shout out to you. I think we have looked at this before, right? Because I didn't know about it. That Mean Gene actually had his own chain of burger joints. So it says, before the Attitude Era, Mean Gene took over fast food in the late 90s. He partnered with his nephews to launch Mean Gene's Burgers, bringing larger-than-life flavor to gas stations, military bases, and college towns across America. It's bold, yellow, checkered cups, juicy burgers, crispy fries. It wasn't just another fast food joint. It was where a taste of nostalgia for wrestling fans everywhere. Whether you grabbed one before a big pay-per-view, stopped in after class, or had it as a late-night bite while serving in the military, everyone that ate at Mean Gene's has a story to tell. And it says that most closed in 2007. Did you ever eat there? What was your go-to? Let's hear about your memories. I had never even heard of this, to be honest. There's the sign, and he's proper on, he's proper on the sign. And there you can see the packaging and everything as well. The fries. I'm guessing those are like maybe nuggets or maybe. The burger looks nice, actually. Burger looks good, but I just can't get over the amount of Mean Gene images that are in front of me right now. Oh, man, I so would have gone there. I so would have gone there if there was one that was nearby me. I'd love to have seen inside of one as well. I wonder if it was... I mean, it doesn't really give off wrestling theme vibes. If anything, it feels a bit like NASCAR or something like that, like the checkered flag, you know? So, I don't know, it'd be a bit weird for Mean Gene to open a burger joint and not make it wrestling themed. Like, that's a choice, isn't it? That's a choice. So, yeah, we have seen this before, but I don't think we've seen that level of detail. So, Miss Clown, thank you. Right, this one is a little bit tricky because it does have music playing over the top. So, basically, the dude, what I'm going to do is show you here. So, Roman's like, this dude's, he looks like Seth Rollins. And Heyman has a look and he goes, how unfortunate for both of them. And he goes, no offense, he's a piece of trash. So that's what plays out. I would play you them actually saying it, but there is like some music in the background which I think might flag. So there we go. This is from like some 2K25 video that dropped today. It's Bryn again. Shout out to you, buds. Yeah, so Michelle McCall, so this is Chris Van Vliet talking to Michelle McCall, says that her daughter is locked in, wants to be a wrestler. She's 12. She's almost as big as Michelle McCall. She's got the same size shoe already at the age of 12. And they basically said, look, if you are going to go for this, you are going to have to work so much harder than everyone else because of who your dad is. Like, you will be going in as the Undertaker's daughter. Now, obviously, NXT aren't going to, like, you know, do anything with her till she's at least, 18, 19? You're talking 6, 7 years. I think Michelle said she's 12. But, you know, since the age of 3, it's all she's wanted to do. Apparently, she's very athletic. Obviously, you know, she's got access to whatever she needs. With her mom being Michelle McCall, her dad being the Undertaker. WWE would not even think twice about taking the Undertaker's daughter into NXT, into that system. I mean, yeah. I can see this happening, to be honest. We really could be watching the Undertaker's daughter in 6, 7 years' time in NXT. Crazy, innit? Wrestle Night, shout out to you. This is crazy. The professional bull riding... whatever, they are actually going to put on a couple of shows live and free on their YouTube channel and WWE's YouTube channel. Not even making this up. So on Friday, during SmackDown, you can go to WWE's channel and the professional bull riding show will be on, right? On Saturday, I believe during NXT... or, you know, the build to NXT, there's going to be professional bull riding on WWE's YouTube channel. This is all because TKO, the people that own WWE, also own UFC. They're looking to start their own boxing league, and they've also bought the PBR. We actually, I think on a member stream, did have a look at the roster of the PBR. I think that clip actually might have been pulled out and put onto the Clips channel. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, we had a lot of fun doing that. So, yeah, just be aware that is bonkers, but that's why it's happening, right? Yeah, check this out. Producer Jey Uso. So, Lynette, thank you.
What up, son? So when it's go time, they're gonna shoot us like this, all right? Hit the shit, go time.
Yeah! Hey, yeah! Yeah!
You him, man. You him, Jay. Hey, but it was, I tell him, fucking hit my music. No. Okay, yeah. But
Keep recording or no?
yeah, but if we can, when I go, can we rotate like that? Yeah, so if I go hit the music, you go this way.
Let's get over there. Let's get over there.
So hey, he gonna need room to turn.
That's crazy. I mean, it's great. This is the kind of stuff, like, so when he's standing there and we're waiting to throw over to him, these are the moments just before. These are the conversations that are being had with all the people standing around. Like, seems like Jay's there for a little while before, good few minutes before. But even him talking to the cameraman, being like, right, I'm going to go this way. You follow me around here. Right, just watch, guys, because he's going to come around. Like, he is kind of directing things, isn't he? I just thought that was really interesting. So, Lynette, thank you. Oh, and this is great. So, Ken said, I need to know what's this monkey for, right? Is that for your son, Matteo? Nikki said yes. And the swoosh now makes an M as well for him too. So, she's actually added the monkey there, just above the eye, and the swoosh has got an M. So that's just nice little details to know for Nikki. So Wrestling Misfit, that's really cool. Thank you. Appreciate you tagging me in that. Right, let's go shall we? I think we're hurtling towards the end. So here we've got this. Undertaker talks about his decision to go to the Super Bowl with Vince. Now, obviously, there's a lot of thoughts on this. Some people are... I'm not confused. I don't think anyone's confused. But I think some people are like, oh, it's not a great look. I mean, it's hard because they've been friends for so long, and it's one of those where I can understand Undertaker just not wanting to believe what he's hearing. And, you know, I'm guessing Vince is telling him as well that it's not true. And so this is how Undertaker responded, right? He said, I was his guest. Look, I'm going to get hate for that. People are going to be like, oh, you guys were so close. You know what happened. And I'm like, I don't know. What hasn't been done, we don't talk about those things. He is a friend of mine. First off, he gave me an opportunity to make something of my life and become something. Then, of course, through all the years, we became friends. After my father passed away, he was a father figure. He was a brother. He was a mentor. I don't know everything that's happened or what's going on, and I'm not the judge on this case. There's only one judge, and that's the man upstairs. He's going to give us all whatever we deserve in the end, and that's what it is. I think people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I don't have to agree with everything that people do, but it doesn't change the fact that I love somebody and I'm friends with somebody. So I think this has probably come from his podcast, was it? Oh, no, this is whilst he was on Busted Open Radio. That might have actually been from when he and Bubba were sat down and they was like, is that Ricky Starks? So it may have come from there. So if you want to see more on that and more on Undertaker's comments, and obviously he'll be talking about different things as well, then you can go over to that Busted Open clip, which I'm sure is doing the rounds. I haven't seen it, to be honest, but I'm sure it's doing the rounds. Right, this is bonkers. This makes very little sense to me, but here we are, right? Sexyy Red was reportedly offered a permanent role as a wrestler. One thing Sexyy particularly enjoyed was making a cameo appearance with legendary wrestler Shawn Michaels for WWE last year. She actually got offered a permanent role as a wrestler, but couldn't find the time to train properly, so settled for a cameo instead. Regardless of what the future holds, she says the wrestling world is a good analogy for how to handle the myriad of pressures that come with being a popular recording artist. This is a good comment, actually. Rapping and wrestling are pretty much the same. It's not quite acting, but it's kind of acting too, right? Because when we go home and we take off our jewels and gold and remove the costumes we wear, we then go back to reality with our families, which is very honest of Sexyy Red to say. Once I take that off and I take that kind of character costume off, I just go back to being with my family, watching TV, doing stuff like everyone else, you know? This is coming from Dazed, which isn't me, right? I know it might seem like I've created this, but there is an outlet that's actually called Dazed that I probably should sue, but actually have probably been around longer than me, so I would lose. But this is bonkers. I mean, I struggle to believe this as being true, right? Unless it was a throwaway comment like, oh, you know, if you love it that much, you should become a permanent wrestler. Like a real throwaway thing, you know? So, I don't know. That's one of the most bonkers things I've read, I think, so far in 2025, that for some reason, the recording artist Sexyy Red was offered a permanent role as a the math ain't mathin', right? CM Chunk, shout out to you, said, here's an article about that restaurant. So Tiffany went to a restaurant. I was like, this is bonkers. It's all Netflix stuff, right? And it is. It's Netflix Bites. It's opened in Las Vegas, and it's got over 70 show-themed menu items on there, right? And I'm guessing WWE on there as well. Tiffany went along to the launch of this thing, and so that's what it is. It's a new Netflix-themed restaurant in Las Vegas. How cool. Never even heard about it. But there we go. Very, very cool. Right, here, yeah, I just wanted to include this because I got tagged in this a lot. And to be honest with you, I'm really surprised at how much it's grabbed attention. I sort of feel like if someone was to put this on X, it'd probably get a couple of thousand views, whatever, a few replies. I don't know that it would do anything that crazy. But because it's written on a sign and held up in a crowd instead of being written on X, and so it's being seen a lot more, it really has just sparked a conversation. I mean, for me, I ain't bothered. Whatever this person thinks, whatever their opinion is, I'm not bothered. Like, a lot of people have pointed out that, you can't even spell correctly, yeah? Which is a very fair point. But, I don't know. I think this is intended to trigger people. It's intended to frustrate people and annoy people. And it has succeeded in that regard quite a bit. But equally, the more this is spoken about, the more it gets shared around, the more this gets seen as well. Like, now I'm including it in unseen, right? So, like, I gotta say it's worked in the sense of getting the message, this person's message out there. And obviously there's been a massive backlash to it from WWE fans, but I just sort of think in the future, WWE fans would be wise to not bite on this. WWE fans would be really wise to just look at that and go, and just move on. Like, to have not given that the room that it has been given, and to not give it, like, the exposure that it's been given, would have dealt with it. But instead, a lot of fans have jumped on it, and that has now made it a much bigger, more visible message. So maybe a bit of learning there for WWE fans. Oh, and this is crazy. I'm glad we're ending on this, actually, because this was crazy. So yesterday, we obviously had that report doing the rounds. I think it was like Wrestlemania Wrestling News, saying about how Demolition had been added back onto the roster, and that this was, like, exciting because could they go in the Hall of Fame? Could we get action figures? Could they, we spoke about it yesterday, and I was excited because Demolition is the team I've actually met. I've got a picture that I took with them. They're a team that I really respect. I would love to see them coming into the games, get more figures of them. We spoke about the fact they haven't made figures of them since like 2010, 2011. They've been on the outside. We spoke about why. Anyway, cut a long story short, Master Taker went onto the Wayback Machine and went back a few years and saw that Demolition were on there, which is very confusing. You can see, like, it's next to, like, Deonna Purrazzo and other people in the alumni section. So it was very confusing. And honestly, afterwards I was like, no, this might mean that none of that stuff we spoke about is going to happen. Like, we might not get Demolition in the game. We might not get new figures. And it was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest with you. But then today, so Master Taker, very good, right? Digging into that. But then today we got this. So this was 9 hours ago. Sean Ross Sapp, Demolition have been signed to WWE Legends deals as per PW Insider. So finally, after decades of contention, they deserve to get their recognition. You only sign people to Legends deals if you're looking to create merch and have them do meet and greets and have them as ambassadors. So if they're under Legends deal, everything we said about Hall of Fame, figures, being in the game, new merch, them appearing on the Legends shows, Saturday night's main event, we could get Demolition coming out later on this year. And they could be at WrestleMania Worlds doing meet and greets. And honestly, this story is crazy because it's gone from being like potential to disappointing to actually happening. The roller coaster of this story has been insane. But where we've ended up is seemingly in an incredible place. So this coming out from PW Insider, even Sean Ross Sapp himself picking up on it. They are now under Legends deals. And so let's go. I bet Mattel are giddy. I'm giddy. Just so exciting. So brilliant news. So there we go. Ending on a high. Let's go community, shall we? So Raymond, shout out to you picking up a like from Karrion Kross. Oh, yeah, look at this. This was a picture taken from World Hardcore Wrestling. Says, I went to Raw recently. Sasha Banks is still on the Raw truck? This is bonkers. Because, I don't know when this took, even if this was took last year, that's 2 years after she's gone, you know? So, World Hardcore Wrestling said this was already well into her AEW career. That's bonkers. As I said yesterday, it's one of those that when someone leaves, it's not something I would have considered. WWE must have noticed, and they must have taken a decision to not cover it over as a priority, to actually just let it be, just to leave it. I mean, in one regard, you can say Sasha Banks is a legend. And if you go on to, you know, the history of WWE, Sasha Banks is, you know, like an Eddie Guerrero. You know, she's someone from the past that you can watch her matches on the network when the network was around, on Peacock. So in that regard, it's not out of date. But in another regard, it is strange that, you know, you'd think she's not under any sort of contract. She's not going to have been under a Legends contract. So I don't quite understand how they could put her on the side of the bus, to be honest, on the side, how they didn't cover it, but they didn't. You know, World Hardcore Wrestling. So, yeah, as we said, works both ways. AEW and WWE seemingly having this bus, coach, truck issue of superstars that have left and still their images are on the side. So, crazy. Seth G, shout out to you. Congrats. Is going to go to TNA Impact, but when they go to Full Sail, that's coming up real soon. Next week, is it? Full Sail next week. That is going to be so good. I miss Full Sail. That's where NXT used to be filmed, so have a great time, buds. Ewan said, this is going to be a fun weekend. Now I just need to get the Mania tickets. So there we go. Look, the combo tickets have been secured. SmackDown, Stand and Deliver, and Raw. Ewan Kennedy, have a fantastic time, my friends. Here, Casey, shout out to you. Oh, yeah, this was really good. So Casey managing to get a response out of Karrion, right, in regards to the Joe Gacy thing. Karrion said, I love Joseph. I always have. He knows that. I claim no responsibility for what he will eventually do. Don't take him lightly. That's what he thrives on. He's the most dangerous one of them all. You'll see. Really interesting words there from Karrion. Really interesting, and a great response that Casey was able to get there. So excellent. And Phil as well. Here, just a bit of footage. This was taken from Raw. So you can see here we've got a bit of footage. Sheamus against Ludwig. I don't know if this was a dart match maybe from this week or if this was from a few weeks ago, but look at that. Those are some mental seats, mate. Those are absolutely incredible. Look at that. What a wonderful shot as well to be able to like go around front row. Phil I am. Killed that, buds. Absolutely killed it. Shout out to you, my friends. Right, with that being said, we've gone a little longer than I wanted, but it doesn't matter. It's Thursday, you know. So, Sweet Chin Wrestling, Casper, Uncle Revel, Chris, Jang Tae Sang, Raymond, Wild Child Billy, Callum, Edwards, Emmanuel, and Real Wrestling Fan. Thank you for the support, my friends. Really appreciate people supporting this video series. We've said before, it is a massive part of the channel. And honestly, I just hope that people continue to enjoy them. And we will be back tomorrow with SmackDown. We'll have another Unseen After. We'll be back on Saturday with Vengeance Day, the Watch Along. We'll have another Unseen After. So plenty coming up this weekend. So thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.